जय श्री राधे सब वैष्णवों को सादर सप्रेम और सनम्र जय श्री कृष्ण। आज के आनंद की जय हो। Continuing with the stories of the 252 Vaishnavas, today we are at the last few paragraphs of Varta 107, the story of Jana and Bhagwan Das. When it was Sri Gosaiji's appearance day, they sang in Rag Dhanashri. Celebrations are taking place in Sri Vallabh's home, and auspicious songs ring out all day and every day. Indeed, in every home a great festival is being enjoyed and accompanied with the sound of Vedic mantras. All the residents of heaven give their blessings and shower down flowers. Bards and musicians all call out, "Long live all glories." All the gopis come to give their blessings and sing in high voices, "Have a long life." Oh, Shri Vishnu, you are the very life of the devotees. Everyone dances and loudly sing the Lord's name praises with voices trembling with joy and love. Now the boys Jana and Bhagwan surrender to this boy. May you live long, most compassionate. You are to the humble. Sri Gosaiji was overjoyed to hear this pad. They followed it up with another pad in the evening. Pad Rag Khan Haro. Oh, long live Sri Vallabh's son, his pride and joy. The dust of Sri Vallabh's feet is sacred. They are pure, like the lotus, and reign most gloriously. They bring joy to those who attain them. When you serve his feet with both hands, then the threefold miseries are destroyed. Now the poets Jana and Bhagwan surrender to those feet, knowing them to grant grace and purity. Sri Gosaiji was very pleased with this song. He praised the innocent hearts of the brothers, for they had exclusive devotion. Thus concludes Varta 107, the story of Jana and Bhagwan, recipients of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and accomplished Vaishnavas. There is truly no end to their glorious tale. Varta now 108, the story of Kalyan Bhatt from Kambalia. Once Sri Gosaiji came to Dwarka to have the holy sight of Sri Ranchor Lalji. He stayed there for quite some time. He then departed and came to Kambalia, where he set up camp. He was seated in his bertak, and all the Vaishnavas from that area came to see him. Kalyan Bhatt came with them. He stood before Sri Gosaiji with folded hands and supplicated, "O great Maharaj, please initiate me with the Lord's name." Sri Gosaiji told him to go and bathe so that he could give them both the Lord's name and the Brahma Sambandh initiations. Kalyan Bhatt bathed and came back to stand before Sri Gosaiji with folded hands. Sri Gosaiji granted him both initiations, and Kalyan Bhatt gave him a donation according to his means. Sri Gosaiji proceeded to cook and make offerings to Sri Thakurji. After the appropriate amount of time, when the prasad was ready, Sri Gosaiji partook of it. Then all his serving entourage cooked, made offerings, and partook of Mahaprasad. When Sri Gosaiji had rinsed his mouth and hands, he gave Mahaprasad to Kalyan Bhatt. Sri Gosaiji again went to his sitting place. Kalyan Bhatt came there and bowed down low to Sri Gosaiji, who asked him, "What have you studied?" He replied that he had studied some grammar. Sri Gosaiji said that was very good and started to teach him from the Pushti Marg text. They completed all of them. Kalyan Bhatt became very knowledgeable. He then asked Sri Gosaiji to reveal to him the inner meaning of the texts, and Sri Gosaiji graced him by revealing them to him, recounting to him all sorts of the Lord's pastimes and the principles of the path. Sri Gosaiji stayed there for a long period, during which time he initiated all of Kalyan Bhatt's family members. Sri Gosaiji then set off from there and returned to Gokul. Kalyan Bhatt accompanied him. In fact, he brought his whole family to Gokul to live. There they had the holy sight of Sri Navneet Priyaji and the 7 Swarupas. Kalyan Bhatt stayed for some days in Gokul and then went to Srinatha for the holy sight of Sri Govardhan Nachi. He then set up house in the village of Annur. In this way, Kalyan Bhatt was a recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace. Part 2. One day there were only 2 pots of boiled down milk in Sri Govardhan Nachi's offerings, and the man in charge of the milk store realized that this was less than needed. He thought to himself that he would make sure to prepare 2 extra pots the next day. That day, before nightfall, Sri Govardhan Nachi took the form of a 10-year-old boy, and carrying his golden bowl from the temple, came to the village of Annur. He came to Kalyan Bhatt's house, where he asked his daughter Devaka if she had any milk. She replied to the boy, "Oh yes, we have plenty of milk. Have as much as you wish." The boy piped up, "You must tell me how much it costs, and then I shall buy some from you." Devaka said she would not take money from him for the milk. Sri Govardhan Nachi then said he would pay 3.5 paisa per kilo for it. She still refused. He then offered 4 paisa per kilo. Bargaining in this way, they arrived at the sum of 4.5 paisa for the 1 kilo of milk. Sri Govardhanaji gave Devaka the bowl as a guarantee for the amount, and she filled it with milk. However, she felt uneasy about this transaction. She went inside and fetched some sugar with which she sweetened the milk and gave it to the boy. Sri Govardhanaji happily drank it. He put down the bowl and left it there, saying that he would return in the morning with the payment and to fetch his bowl. Devaka washed the bowl and put it on a shelf. Later on in the early morning, Sri Gosaiji bathed and ascended the Giriraj mountain and entered the temple. He made all of the Govardhanaji's seva up to his ornamentation. But whilst making the offerings, he realized that the golden bowl was not there. He asked all the cooks if they knew where it was. However, Sri Govardhanaji himself piped up, "Yesterday the milk offering was 2 bowls short. I went to Devaka's house in Anyor and drank some milk. I left the bowl there as surety." Sri Gosaiji told Kalyan Bhatt the whole story, that the golden bowl had been left with Devaka. He asked Kalyan Bhatt to fetch it from there. Kalyan Bhatt went home and addressed Devaka, "Did someone leave their bowl as surety for some milk?" She told him that they had. Kalyan Bhatt told her that was Sri Govardhanaji himself who left the bowl here. Devaka told him, "Take the bowl back." He did just that and placed it in front of Sri Gosaiji, who said, "Devaka's great good fortune cannot be adequately praised. She has a most innocent nature, so much so that Sri Thakurji himself left his bowl with her." When he had completed the morning seva and settled the Lord down for some rest, Sri Gosaiji came down the mountain. He made himself comfortable in his Baitak. All the Vaishnavas came there to see him before setting off each to their own home. Sri Gosaiji then called the man in charge of the milk department and told him off, telling him to never let this happen again, that there not be enough milk for Sri Govardhanaji. The milkman promised to do as he was ordered. Devaka was highly blessed, and Kalyan Bhatt was thus the recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace. Concluding here, and we continue tomorrow with part 3 of Varta 108. Aaj ke Anand ki jai, Sri Gosaiji ki jai. Sab Vaishnava ko sanamra, supreme sadar. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.